Dear all, before we begin, I would like to introduce to you our speaker for today's first session, Dr. Satish Deepatak. Dr. Satish has more than 4 decades of skillful experience as a medical surgeon and yoga consultant. He previously worked at the Department of Surgery, ESIS Hospital, Mulund, Mumbai, and retired as MMIS Class 1 surgeon. Presently working as an Assistant Director, Scientific Research Department, Associate Professor, College of Yoga, Kaivalyadam, Lonavla, and as a Vice Chairman of the Indian Yoga Association Maharashtra Unit. Dr. Satish is a professional member at various medical research centers and universities across India. He is a visiting operative surgeon at Sarvodaya Trust, Gujarat, an honorary surgeon of Indian Cancer Society, faculty member, College of Physicians and Surgeons, Mumbai, faculty member at Mangalore and Sanchi Universities, etc. He is a pioneer in starting fellowship in yoga therapy for doctors at Maharashtra University of Health Sciences, yoga OPD for patients in Maharashtra at ESIS Hospital. He has also successfully conducted many yoga workshops internationally, like in Mauritius, New Jersey, New York, Dubai, and so on. He was a resource person in a few reputed national and international television and radio programs in Doordarshan, Akashvani, and has also been interviewed on Radio Karishma, Texas, USA. Dr. Satish is a proud recipient of many honorable awards and professional recognitions. To name a few, Yog Ratna Award by Vishwa Yog Darshan and Patanjali Yoga Center, honored by Dr. Nigwekar, Vice Chancellor of Pune University, honored by Dr. Vishwanath Kharat, Seva Puraskar by Sri Ambika Yoga Kutir, felicitated by the Vice Chancellor of Mangalore University, and much more. He is an excellent publisher of many books, mainly on the importance of yoga and health, such as A Guide to Yoga Teacher from Point of View of Human Body and Diseases, Yoga as Therapy. He has also been a distinguished speaker and presenter at more than 25 national and international seminars, symposiums, and conferences. Dear sir, we are much delighted to have a knowledgeable person like you amidst us today. I now humbly invite you to share your presentation.
Thank you very much. I will start with the prayer. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmain Sri Gurave Namaha, Tasmain Sri Gurave Namaha. With due respect to Swami Kualananji, the principal of the college, Dr. James, Dr. Nidhish, and all yoga aspirants. We are passing through a very difficult time of corona pandemic, and everybody is facing the problems created due to corona pandemic. Either they are directly involved or some relative or some friend is involved, so you do get some problem with that. As sir said, Dr. James said, that yoga should not be just done on one day, that is on 21st June, World Yoga Day, and forget about it. It should be made as a lifestyle. In each and every movement, action of your day-to-day working should be a yogic style. If you sit also, if you sit straight, that is also yoga. If you think properly, that is also yoga. So it should be practiced daily. It should become a lifestyle of your day-to-day working. So you try to live the yogic life and it will save so many problems. As sir said, yoga can be preventive, curative, adjuvant, and palliative. And we have to see where we can fit it and apply it. Today's topic is yogic and general tips to prevent corona. Why I chosen this topic? Because everybody is facing the problem. And to get rid of it or to prevent oneself getting involved, getting infected because of corona, what we can do, on that I am going to discuss. Now, as you know, yoga is 5,000-year-old science. But still there are a lot of misconceptions that yoga can be practiced only after retirement, going to the hilly area. It's not like that. It is for us, for family people only. Because family people only they are facing a lot of problems. And to get rid of that problem, to get rid of the stress created because of that problem, you need practice of yoga. Yoga is definitely a tool to get rid of quite a number of diseases. Yoga, if you practice regularly, it can set the biological clock of your body in such a way that it will not go wrong. And if something happens, you can add some more kriyas. So it acts as a preventive. Then at any age you can do it. The science of yoga says, Yuva vruddhoti vruddhova, vyadhito durbolo piva, abhyasat siddhima apnoti, sarva yogeshwa tandritaha. Means a person from the age of 10 to 12, then he may be 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 years also. He can practice yoga regularly and he may be healthy, he may be unhealthy, he may be having some disease, he may be weak. Durbal means weak. He can also practice yoga. And everybody will get benefited by practicing yoga. And that is why this is the importance. And yoga, it has got nothing to do with the religion. It has got a humanity approach. Now coming to the corona, how one gets corona. First we'll discuss about how one gets corona and then we'll go how we can prevent it from getting somebody. Now the virus entry, it makes through the nasal and oral mucosa. If you are standing near a person who has got corona infection, if he is breathing in and out or if he sneezes, he throws out lot of viral load along his breathing or along his sneezing. And if you are standing close to him, you are likely to inhale same viral load and you are likely to get infected. That is why the first guideline is safe distancing. At least 6 feet, 1 meter distance is necessary. Why? Because that distance will help to dilute the viral load which he has thrown into the atmosphere. Then once it comes into the nose, then it affects this nasal mucosa. This is cut section of the nose and you can see this nose part inside. The virus will come and stay over here and then it will get fixed over this mucosa and it will start multiplying. So when it goes into the nose, where it goes here, you get rhinitis, allergic rhinitis, running nose. When it goes to the pharynx, you get sore throat. When it goes to the conjunctiva in the eyes, you get conjunctivitis. And when it goes to the lung, when it comes through the nose, then to the pharynx, and from trachea, it goes to the lungs, and you get pneumonia or lung infection. So this is the path of this coronavirus going inside. So first step, if it doesn't enter here, doesn't lodge himself over here, you are less likely to get infection. How we can do that? That we'll see in the next few slides. Now, the most dreaded complication because of COVID-19 is, and which is responsible for high morbidity and mortality, is DIC, disseminated intravascular coagulation. And this is very serious condition. It happens because of the disturbed balance, and there is an increase in the pro-inflammatory cytokines and decrease into the anti-inflammatory cytokines. The balance between the two cytokines is disturbed. It results into inflammation, coagulation, fibrolysis, endothelial dysfunction. It affects the hemodynamic regulation. The response of hemostatic system to the inflammation, to the virals, is there is intravascular fibrin formation, depletion of platelets and coagulation factors, bleeding and clotting at the same time. Now, you know, suppose that in our body, 24 hours, blood is flowing through circulating through the arteries and veins without any problem. Suppose you get an injury over here, what will happen? You will find that blood will start flowing from here. But after some time, it will stop. How it stops? Because when the blood comes into the contact with the atmospheric air, the platelets and then other coagulating factors are released, the fibrin is formed, and it plugs wherever the vein has broken, rent, and bleeding stops. So this is a clotting mechanism. This is naturally happening in our body whenever there is a injury to the vessel. Now the platelets, they help in clotting. Now in viral infection, what happens? The response of the virus, the hemostatic system, there is a depletion of platelets. The coagulation factors are depleted. So clotting and bleeding, they start at the same time. Because their clotting factors are deficient, so there is a bleeding. And because of the inflammatory cytokines, there is intravascular formation of the fibrin, which causes clots. So there is a clotting and bleeding at the same time into the body. And that is why few of the organs, they face the problem because of the clotting, blood supply is stopped, and because of the bleeding, the blood loss is there. And this is the reason why there is very high mortality and morbidity. So we have to think of all these things, and then we have to think what we can do to prevent ourselves from getting corona. Now, these are the pro-inflammatory cytokines. You are, since from the biochemistry college, you might be interested in knowing the names of the cytokines. So these are different cytokines which are there. Then these are the vascular endothelial growth factor and epidermal growth factor. All these, they play major role. The balance between these two cytokines plays the role. Now, what are the parameters we test when somebody gets corona? We test the WBC, that is the white blood cell count, to know whether there is leukopenia, then inflammatory markers like all this, then CRP, D-dimer, and HRCT. So these will confirm the diagnosis. HRCT will tell whether the heart, the lungs are infected or not. Now, who will get the COVID infection? Now, as rainy season has started in Kerala, already it has come 1 week ahead. So now some people must be having allergic rhinitis. But do all the people get allergic rhinitis once the rain start? No, few of them only get. Why? Because it depends upon the immunity. It depends upon the viral load. So this infection depends upon higher viral load. Suppose you are standing very close to the patient who has got a corona infection. If he is sneezing, lot of viruses are thrown out and you are inhaling it, so you are likely to get. So this is the first main cause, higher viral load. This we can avoid by keeping safe distance with the patient, wearing mask also. So that will prevent you inhaling the same air, or if you are inhaling the same air also, these viruses will be filtered and only air will go in. Then second reason is the mainly due to the low immunity. Now it depends upon at two places. One at the local, that means in the nose mucosa and pharynx mucosa, and in general immunity. If it is low, then you are likely to get infection. That is why you will find that it has been guided that the children and old people, they should stay at home. Why? Because usually their immunity may be less and they are likely to catch the infection very easily. And you will find that most of the time the mortality rate is, if you see, the mortality rate is more in the people who are more than the age of 65 or 70. That is why they are strictly told to sit at home. Now, what are the effects of COVID infection at physical level? At respiratory, means at the nose, it will be allergic rhinitis, pharynx, pharyngitis, the sore throat will be there, tongue, then you will be having a loss of taste, eyes, conjunctivitis, trachea and lung, you will have alveoli, the pneumonic infection. And if it is due to DIC, all organs of the body are affected, and this is at physical level. What is at mental level? You are getting disturbed because you are watching TV every day. You are finding that so many patients were positive, so many patients died. So you get upset. If I get corona infection and if I die, so you have got a fear of death. So this is at the mental level. So we have to work at physical level as well as mental level to keep corona away from us. Now, what yogic practices you can advise for keeping ourselves free from corona? For physical improvement, we do improvement of the eyes, nose, pharynx and respiratory system. One should practice Jalneti, Kapalbhati, Ujjayi, Surya Bhedan, Simha Mudra and Brahmari. So this will help at a physical level. Now these are the few asanas I noted: Ardha Halasan, crocodile poses, Bhujangasan, Naukasan, Shalabhasan, Dhanurasan, Vakrasan, Gomukhasan, Tadasan, Parvatasan, side bending Chakrasan in standing. These will help to maintain the elasticity of the thoracic cage intercostal muscles so that your lungs are functioning properly, the oxygenation is proper, and you are less likely to get any infection. And then at the mental level, we have to practice pranadharana, that is breath awareness, and then Kriya Yoga, Anulom Vilom 10 times, Omkar 10 times, Gayatri 10 times. It is not necessary that you should practice Omkar only. If you are of some different religion, you can practice Amen or Amen, and instead of Gayatri, you can chant similar your religion mantra 10 times. And then Kavaladam technique Dhyan meditation, we starts with the eye closure technique. So this will take care of you from getting any corona infection. It improves immunity as local as well as general and systemic level, because we have done research in Kavaladham, and by giving yoga 3 months to the industrial workers, we found that the anti-inflammatory cytokines level has increased, pro-inflammatory cytokine levels has gone down, and they were not getting quite often infection as they used to get in the past. So this happens because it improves the balance between the pro and anti-inflammatory cytokines. It downgrades, inhibits expression of several pro-inflammatory cytokines, and it also helps psychoneuroimmunology, helps in enhancing anti-inflammatory response. So that is how yoga helps in preventing corona. Now we'll see one by one the kriyas which I have told you, how they are going to benefit from not getting corona. So the first is the Jalaneti. Here is a neti pot. The lukewarm water is taken and little salt is added to that, and you hold the neti pot in such a way and put the nozzle at the opening of the nose or nostril, and the water will run through this and it will come out from the other side. So this is a Jalaneti. Once you do it from one nostril, then do it from the other nostril. So this is called Jalaneti. This should be practiced every day. Now, how you are benefited from the point of view of corona, that we'll discuss. Now, this is the cut section of the nose. This is sagittal section taken like this. This is the mucosa inside the nose, which is lining the nasal nostril. Then these are the turbinates. They are like a kadappa platform into the kitchen for keeping the utensils. These are the sinuses. This is one sinus, this is another sinus. There are two frontal sinuses over here, maxillary sinuses over here, and ethmoidal sinuses over here. All these sinuses, they open into the nose. You can see this window. This sinus, mucous membrane, secretes some water and it cleans all these walls and throws out this dirty water into the nose through this window. You can here also see. If this window gets closed, what will happen? This dirty water will collect here. This dirty water will collect here, and then patient will get sinusitis. In sinusitis, what we do? We puncture this wall and drain out the collected dirty fluid. So this is the anatomy of the nose. Now, when you are doing Jalaneti, as I told you, that if you are standing close to the person who has got corona infection and he breathes out and throws out lot of coronavirus, if you inhale same, those viruses along with the dust particles, along with the air, they will come over here and they will try to get lodged over here. But if you are doing Jalaneti every day with the water, these dust particles and coronavirus, they will be thrown out. If they are thrown out, they will not remain here. If they don't remain there, they cannot grow and you are less likely to get corona infection. So this benefit you get by doing Jalaneti every day. Now these dust particles, if they are thrown out, if passage is clean, you will not have any difficulty in breathing. Another thing, when you are doing Jalaneti, this window will never get closed. If this window doesn't get closed, the dirty water collected here will be thrown out and there will not be any sinusitis. Another important thing, this mucosa of the sinus secretes or produces nitric oxide. Now this nitric oxide is very much effective in killing the bacteria and virus. So it acts against bacteria virus. So if this opening is blocked, this nitric oxide secreted into the sinus will not be able to come into the nose. But if you are doing Jalaneti, this opening will never get blocked, and whatever naturally secreted, produced nitric oxide, it can come into the nose and go along with the air inhaled to the trachea and lungs, and it will help to kill the bacteria or virus in all this area, nose, pharynx, as well as alveoli. So this benefit you get by doing Jal Neti. Now these are the olfactory nerve. The ends of this olfactory nerve, they give you the information of smell to the brain. Now you must be knowing that the patient is asked, are you having breathlessness? Are you having running nose? Are you having sore throat? Have you lost the smell? Why they ask it? Because these viruses, coronavirus, they come and lodge over here and they will block the branches of this olfactory nerve. Now these branches, they are just underneath the mucosa, nasal mucosa. And on that nasal mucosa, if the dust particles along with the virus are there, these nerve ends may not be able to get the smell. But if you are doing Jal Neti every day, whole of this passage is cleaned. There are no debris on this, no coronavirus, no dust particles. So they will be able to get the smell properly. So this benefit you get by doing Jal Neti. What more you get? You are using a lukewarm water. Why you are using lukewarm water? Because it will increase the warmness of the sinuses and the nasal area, which will help to kill the organism. So these are the benefits of Jal Neti. So first is nasal passage is clean. It reduces nasal mucosa swelling. Organisms with dust particles thrown out, so no chance of getting corona infection. Opens up the opening of the sinuses in nasal cavity, thus drains the secretion of sinuses and relief from sinusitis, and fresh nitric oxide production will be released into the circulation. It improves smell sensation. Salt, it acts as an antiseptic, and it also acts as a hygroscopic. And because of the warmness, the bacteria is killed. Now, this, because of the infection, the nasal mucosa swells. There is a waterlogging, there is a swelling. And what happens? You say my right nostril is blocked. Why it is blocked? Because this nasal mucosa is swollen. Now, if you are doing Jal Neti, the salt, what is the peculiarity of the salt? If you put it on one in utensil on the table, you will find in 1 hour's time, it will become wet. Why it becomes wet? Because it absorbs the moisture from the atmosphere. Similarly, when you are doing Jal Neti, when the swollen mucosa is there, where the nose is blocked, then when this water goes in, the salt into this water, being hygroscopic, it will absorb the water into the nasal mucosa, and the swelling will be reduced, nasal block will be gone. So this benefit you get by doing Jal Neti. That is why if every day you can practice Jal Neti in the morning, then you are definitely getting benefited, because by chance, if a few organisms, coronavirus, they have come into the nasal nose and started getting fixed over the nasal mucosa, they cannot get fixed. They will be thrown out, and because of the nitric oxide, they will be killed. Those having eardrum perforation, they should not practice Jal Neti. Rest all can practice. It should be practiced in the morning, preferably, because we have seen when you are doing Jal Neti, some of the water can get stuck under this turbinate. And suppose after doing Jal Neti, if you lie down immediately, this water will trickle down along this pharynx into the trachea, into the lung, and you may get infection. And usually in the morning, we don't lie down in the bed. That is why it is to be done in the morning. If you want to practice in the evening, at least 2 hours, you should not lie down on the bed. And to be on safer side, do 2 or 3 sets of Kapalbhati. So whatever water was stuck over here will be thrown out. So these are the benefits of the Jal Neti. Then coming to the Kapalbhati. Now Kapalbhati is a normal inhalation and forceful exhalation. What we do? We breathe out, then breathe in, then without making chest movement, we just move the lower part of the abdomen below the umbilicus, we move it inside. So the air is forced out, and then after that you do normal inhalation and forceful exhalation. So this Kriya is called Kapalbhati. This has to be done as per your capacity. Maybe 20, 30, 40 maximum you can do 100 times in one stroke. Such 3 strokes you have to do it. Now, how you are benefited by doing Kapalbhati? I will just tell little bit anatomy of the respiratory system. It starts from the nose, then this is the trachea, then it divides into the 2 at the center of the chest, and it again branches, and these are the alveoli. There are millions of alveoli. which are doing the function of breathing and exchange of oxygen. Now this trachea is lined by inside by mucous membrane, which secretes 1 liter water in 24 hours. This water, it moistens the air which you are breathing in if it is dry. So this is the important function done by the 1 liter water secreted by the mucosa of the bronchus and trachea. Now these are the hair-like projection. They are called cilia. Now this cilia, what is the function of this cilia? Now you are breathing in air. Suppose you are standing outside on the road. When you are breathing, lot of dust is there in the atmosphere. So that dust goes in your respiratory system. That dust particle also contains organisms, virus, bacteria. Now when you inhale that air, those dust particles, they get entangled into this hair-like projection cilia, and because of the escalating action, they are not allowed to go in, they are thrown out. So this important function is done by this cilia. This is the lung over here. When you are normally breathing, this is the diaphragm which separates the lung from the chest from the abdomen. When you're breathing normally, this diaphragm comes only 1 centimeter down. When you're breathing heavily, it can come 7 centimeter down. More the diaphragm can come down, more the air can be inhaled. So this is the chest and these are the lungs. Now coming to the effect of Kapalbhati, we are doing normal inhalation and forceful exhalation. So normal inhalation, forceful exhalation. Normal inhalation, forceful exhalation. When you are doing forceful exhalation, because of the force of the air which is going out, whatever dust particles, bacteria into that entangled into the cilia, hair-like projection, they are thrown out and whole of the passage gets cleaned. You will not get any difficulty in breathing. Now the dust particles are thrown out. In that dust particle, there are viruses, bacteria, coronavirus. So they are also thrown out. If they are thrown out, they will not remain here. If they don't remain here, you will not get corona infection. So this benefit you get by doing Kapalbhati. Now suppose you start rubbing on your hand like this. After some time, what will happen? It will become red. Why? Because the blood circulation increases because of the rubbing. Similarly, when you are doing forceful exhalation, when air is going out, it is rubbing the mucosa. So blood circulation increases underneath the mucosa of the trachea and bronchus. And this blood circulation, the blood which contains WBC and RBC. We are more concerned with the WBC, white blood cells, because their function is to kill the bacteria. How they kill? Suppose this is a WBC and this is the organism. When it comes close to that, it engulfs the organism and kills him. That is called phagocytic action. So if you are doing forceful exhalation, the circulation of this trachea and bronchus will increase. So whatever organisms, viruses, they have come over here, they will be killed by the WBC, and again you will get relief from the corona infection. You will not get any corona infection. So this benefit you get by doing Kapalbhati. One more important benefit, if you want to inflate the balloon, what you do? You put it to the pump, air pump, and you slowly pump it. Do you pump it suddenly in one stroke? No. If you do it one stroke, what will happen? The balloon will burst. But by doing half a pump, slowly balloon distends and it becomes bigger in size. Similarly, when you are doing forceful exhalation, alveoli closes, and when you are doing normal inhalation, slowly it is opening. So the elasticity of the alveoli is maintained, and this is very important because this lower part of the lung, just for your information, when you are breathing normally, you are breathing in 500 ml air in and 500 ml air out. Suppose you breathe in heavily and breathe out heavily, you can breathe out 4600 ml air. That is called a vital capacity. So you are using only 1/8 of the lung at any given time. So rest of the lung, it is always dormant, it is lying down, it is not doing any activity. And especially this lower part of the lung, basal lung lobes, they are always idle, dormant. And if you are doing forceful exhalation and inhalation Kapalbhati, because of the movements, the elasticity of these alveoli is maintained. So by chance few organisms, because of the gravity, if they come down over here at the lowest part of the alveoli in this part of the lung, because of the elasticity of the alveoli, contraction, relaxation, they will be thrown out and they cannot lodge themselves here and less likely to get pneumonic infection. So these are the benefits of the Kapalbhati. There are about 12 benefits, but only pertaining to the corona I have discussed here now. Then coming to the who cannot do this type of Kapalbhati? The one who has got high blood pressure, heart attack, abdominal hernia, major abdominal surgery, then glaucoma, gastric ulcer, complicated ulcer, pregnancy. They will not do this type of Kapalbhati. What they can do? They can do simple Kapalbhati. What is this simple Kapalbhati? Here you are not using force while exhalation. So the Kapalbhati without forceful exhalation, that is called simple Kapalbhati. If you practice this, you will get at least 70% benefit of what is the traditional Kapalbhati. Then coming to the Ujjayi. Ujjayi is a friction breathing. Now, when you are doing Kapalbhati, if you are not using any force while inhalation, the air may not reach to the lower bases or the lower part of the lung. But by doing Ujjayi, air can reach to that part of the lung. For example, you are gardening with the water tube. So you are giving water to the plants. Suppose one plant is far away from there, and you cannot reach over there. What you do? You pinch the tube, water tube, and the water goes up to that and waters the plant. Similarly, when you are doing Ujjayi, you are constricting the throat and then you are breathing in. That is a friction breathing. So what will happen? Because of the constriction of the vocal cord, air will get more additional pressure and it can reach to the lowest part of the lung. So the elasticity of the lung can be maintained and chances of getting any infection can be reduced. So these are the benefits. Sinusitis you cannot get, your blood pressure will be normal, heart attack will not do it. Asthma, in asthmatic patient or in infection, you will find the mucosa of the trachea bronchus, it swells and this has become small. The normal aperture should be of this size, but because of the infection, it has become such a small. If you are practicing Ujjayi, the swelling will go and you will not have any infection in the trachea and bronchus. So this benefit you get by doing Ujjayi. I have tested this. It improves the oxygen level into the blood. Normal oxygen level is 100%. Now everybody must be well aware about the pulse oximeter. Most of the people must have bought it also and they might be testing it also. So normal oxygen level is 100%. When I tested in 300 people, I found in normal people it was 97, 98. After doing yogic practices, Ujjayi, it became 99, 100%. In heart attack patient, it was 95, 96. After 3 months of practice, it became 98%. And in asthmatic patient, it was 85. After 3 months, it became 96%. Means if you practice Ujjayi every day, you can definitely improve the oxygen level. And main problem in corona infection is falling oxygen level into the blood. You must be knowing that always doctor gives guidance to the patient who are in isolation or quarantine at home. If your blood oxygen level falls down below 83, 85, you must report to the doctor so that you may require oxygen supplementation. Then coming to the breath awareness, that is just watching the breath. What you have to do? Just close your eyes and watch the breath, how it is coming, how it is going. Don't alter the speed. Just concentrate on breath. It will help to develop the awareness. It will improve the oxygenation because it improves the parasympathetic activity and reduces the sympathetic activity. So the tone is reduced, the oxygenation improves, and you will get better results. Then coming to the mental aspect, here we have to do Anulom Vilom, Omkar, and Gayatri. This is called Kriya Yoga. Anulom Vilom, how we have to do? I'll just show you. You have to close your right nostril, then breathe in from the left. Once you have fully breathe in, close the left nostril. So breathe out with the right. Once you have breathed out completely from the right, breathe in from the right now. Close right. Breathe out with the left. Again, you have to breathe in from the left. So this is second round. So such you have to do 10 rounds. Then Omkar. How Omkar is to be done? You have to just sit like this. Then you have to breathe in heavily. While breathing out, you have to say O and Ma. Now this O, when you are pronouncing, both the lips are apart. When you say Ma, both the lips get joined. So how it is done, I will just show you. And here, when you are saying Ma, it should be nasal sound. What is the importance of that? I will tell you later on. So now suppose this is the lips apart and I am going to do Omkar. How it is to be done? So this way you have to chant. It should have a nasal sound. Then Gayatri, that I will show you the Gayatri mantra and I will explain. Now Anulom Vilom, it helps proper channelization of energy to the different parts, like water canal coming from the main reservoir going to the different farms, and Omkar is the proper supply of energy to all parts of the body as per need through the small channels, and Gayatri, it protects the energy due to rhythmic breathing. One which protects pran is called Gayatri. Now meditation, when you start doing meditation, it happens usually, it cannot be started. But if you start practicing slowly, it will happen. Body heals on its own. You develop self-confidence and increases positive thinking. Omkar, the purpose of doing Omkar is to keep your mind thoughtless, because science says that you cannot keep your mind thoughtless for more than 6 seconds. If you are awake for 16 hours, you can make it only for 10%, means 1.5 hours. Otherwise, you are always thinking of something. What you are thinking, either you are thinking yesterday's or tomorrow's. And that is the most important thing, that it gives you problems. So you have to make your mind thoughtless or equanimous. Now this is possible by practicing Omkar. When you are practicing Omkar, it helps to activate the belief system. The healing system starts functioning. What happens by starting healing system means the body mobilizes its resources in such a way that you heal on your own. You don't require any medicine. But for that, you have to practice Omkar. Now, when you are practicing Omkar, the mind becomes thoughtless or equanimous. If you know that there is a cardiogram done for the heart, similarly, there is an encephalogram done for the brain. And it was found, when you make your mind thoughtless, alpha waves are generated. The mind is cool, parasympathetic activity is more, sympathetic activity is at a low level, and your pulse rate normal, blood pressure normal. But if you are thinking too much, if you are angry, what happens? Beta waves are generated, sympathetic activity increases, adrenaline secretion increases, and pulse rate increases, blood pressure increases. So to keep your mind cool, we have to practice Omkar. Gayatri, the way you think you become. If I tell somebody, you look like a Bollywood hero, Amitabh Bachchan or Mammootty, so what will happen? He will stand up and start the talking dialogue of his favorite actor. Similarly, if you pray the sun, the source of energy, that give me energy like you, it becomes, it happens. So there is no question of praying this Gayatri for some religion. It is not concerned with any religion. It is the prayer spraying the source of energy, the sun, which you can see with your eyes. Now this is the Gayatri mantra. How it is to be chanted, I will just show you. This is Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tat Savitvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Now you find here some line is there above, some line is below here. What is the meaning of that? This line up here means you have to stretch this word upwards. When the line is below, you have to stretch this word transversely. So I will just chant it once. Please mute yourself. Om Bhur Swaha. Because there is line over here, I have lifted this word up. Om Bhur Swaha. Viturvarenyam Bhargo. There is a line over here. Bhargo. There is a line over Bhargo. So Bhargo Devasya. Devasya. There is a line below De. So I prolong that word. Devasya. Dhimahi. Dhiyo. There is a line below the Yo. So I said Dhiyo. Yona. There is a line above it. So I lifted this word. Dhiyo. Yona. Prachodayat. There is a line below Cho. So I said Prachodayat. Om Tatsa Viturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Like this, you have to chant it for 10 times. You have to say Om Bhurvas only once and then remaining for 10 times. Now, those who are having of different religion, they can chant their own mantra of their religion in similar fashion. Then coming to the Surya Bhedan, Simha Mudra and Brahmari. Now, Surya Bhedan is you have to breathe in from the right, breathe out with the left. Again, breathe in through the right, breathe out with the left. In Anulom Vilom, what you have done? It was breathing from the left, breathing out for the right. Here, you are just breathing in from the right and breathing out with the left. And you are not breathing again from the left. Again, you are breathing from the right. So that is the difference. This you have to do 10 times. Then Simha Mudra. This is lion pose. I will just show you how to do it. You have to breathe in. While breathing out, you have to open your mouth widely, keep your eyes widely opened up and make little noise. This will increase the blood supply of these pharynx parts. So it will help to reduce the sore throat, and because the blood circulation is improved, the water organisms they are lodged in pharynx, they will be killed. And then last is the Brahmari. Now Brahmari is a technique where this is bee humming technique it is called. You have to breathe in, and then when you are breathing out, you have to close your mouth, eyes, and then breathe out air by making nasal sound and bee humming. We'll just show you once. There are two types. This is simple, and then there is a Shanmukhi, that is you have to close your eyes with the finger, close the ears with the thumb, and mouth with this. So I'll just show you simple. This is Brahmari. This you have to do 10 times. Now Brahmari, as I told you when I was discussing the nasal sinuses, it secretes or it produces nitric oxide, and this nitric oxide is produced because of the humming of the nasal sinus. Normally it is produced into the nasal sinuses, nasal mucosa, but by doing humming, vibration, it causes the water was secreted, it is thrown out, and new nitric oxide is secreted. Now these are the few researches on Brahmari. In this article, it shows that nitric oxide is naturally produced in nose and paranasal sinuses. Then article 2 also explains this. This third article says high nitric oxide production in human paranasal sinuses. This has been confirmed by the research. Then this article says it deals with the measurement of the nitric oxide which is secreted into the nasal and paranasal sinuses. And this article, it deals with the assessment of nasal and paranasal sinus nitric oxide, and it increases by doing humming. So this has been recorded, this has been research has been done, and it has been proved that nitric oxide production increases by doing bee humming technique, Brahmari. Humming greatly increases nasal nitric oxide. Again, this says that humming induces release of nasal nitric oxide for assessment of sinus obstruction in allergic rhinitis. They have used it to find out whether that window which is opening into the sinus window opening into the nose has closed or not. That is why the patient has developed sinusitis. Humming greatly increases nasal nitric oxide in healthy people by causing rapid washout of nitric oxide from the sinuses. And this also has said nitric oxide measurements before and after repeated humming maneuvers, and it has increased. And the abstract of this says that it has been recently shown the humming greatly increases nitric oxide. This is most likely owing to the rapid washout of sinus nitric oxide caused by oscillating sound waves. Then this article deals with the how this Brahmari was used in 2004 in SARS infection. And this SARS infection is more or less a virus. It's a little bit similar with the COVID-19 virus. Brahmari is effective as an adjuvant. This indicates that there are good chances that effectiveness of the Brahmari practice in COVID-19 infection as an adjuvant with modern medical treatment. Now, how we should use yoga therapy in corona? It can be used as a preventive, as we all are facing the threat of corona infection. If you practice whatever things I have told you, it will act as a preventive and you will not get corona infection. So here it will act as a preventive, and then it can be used as a adjuvant. When patient has got infection, he should continue his medical line of treatment and also practice yoga, so it will help to have the faster recovery and reduce the hospital stay. Now, yoga as an adjuvant also will be prescribed by along with the medicines. The quarantine people, they can do yoga. Isolation people, they also can do yoga. Asymptomatic, RT-PCR positive, they can do yoga. Symptomatic but positive, in that we have categorized them as mild, moderate, and severe. And lot of research and lot of protocols, projects are going on all over India, and they have given yogic practices to mild and moderate symptoms, and they have found along with the medical line of treatment. So yoga is used as an adjuvant therapy, and they have found good results, and they have been successfully treated with this, and they are sent home. While in severe symptoms, it is an acute condition, so only medical line of treatment has to be given. Once the acuteness is gone, then you can give him yogic practices so that his hospital stay can be reduced. So deviation from the nature, what is it? It's a change in atmosphere, change in food habits. Our food habits are changed. We are indulging in hoteling, junk food eating, packaged food we are eating, change in the lifestyle. No health awareness. As Sir said, that we don't have time to look after our own health. And when we fall sick, then only we remember, oh, I'm having some problem. Not able to give time for family, and all the time on mobile. Nowadays, this mobile fashion has become so worst that I have seen in some houses, the son sending a SMS to mother, mother, I'm feeling hungry, please serve me food. So they are so much mobile friendly. What is the corona effect? When you are deviated from the nature, nature has punished it. What it has done? Corona has come. And what has the corona effect? Lockdown. We take it as a punishment given by the health department or government. But is it by a government or health department? No, it is given by the nature. Because you are deviated from the nature, nature has punished you. What are the effects of lockdown? Enough time to do something for health, earning, eating homely food, satisfaction to the both, able to spend enough time with family, able to nurture unfulfilled hobbies which gives eternal satisfaction. So this was the effect of lockdown. So what lockdown has done? It has forced us to go near nature. How? We are indulging in hoteling, we are indulging in eating fast food. So he said, don't go outside. Sit at home. As you are sitting at home, the safe distance is maintained. If you are outside, you have to wear a mask, so that is also not necessary. So indirectly, it has given a message, follow the nature. We are all matured intellectual people of 21st century. Why we need to be punished again and again? The first wave come now, second wave is on the verge of going, and again they are predicting that third wave will come. So why not to practice yoga and follow the nature? Because yoga is one of the part of the nature. Yoga is an old Indian tradition, today's need, and going to be tomorrow's culture. Now whole world is ready to follow this culture. Why we should not do? Let us all practice yoga, follow it up. How to take your own care? Because we have seen how we can prevent getting infection. But how will come to know that I am likely to get infection? So don't ignore the symptoms like this. What? Running nose, sore throat, fever along with the cough, change in the taste or loss of taste. Initially, you might find that I'm not getting the taste. Then later on, you'll say, no, no, I'm not getting taste at all. Then loss of smell, breathlessness, because initially when nose is affected, you will get running nose. When the pharynx is affected, as this traverses down the infection, you will get more and more symptoms. So first is running nose, second is sore throat, then you might get slight fever when it has gone to the systemic level, cough when it has reached to the lung. When it has affected tongue, you will get loss of taste. When it has affected the olfactory nerve, you will get loss of smell. And if lung affected, you will get breathlessness. And when systemic affection is there, you will get severe body ache and general weakness. I'm adding one more symptom, that any unknown sudden symptoms. Now you must have been reading and watching the TV and they are saying that variants are coming up. New strain of coronavirus has come. So the symptoms are also differing. So any unknown sudden symptom, if it appears, let us think that whether am I getting corona? If you think, better get your RT-PCR done. So if you find that any of the symptom is there, don't get panicky. First thing. Otherwise, you will get worried, oh, I'm getting corona. So what will happen? If I die, what will happen? Don't worry. Don't get panicky. Get RT-PCR done. If RT-PCR test is done, it is positive, immediately consult a doctor. Isolate yourself, home quarantine, and practice yoga, and also take the medicines prescribed by the doctor or health department. Keep close watch on the symptoms. Strict follow-up with the doctor, because doctor, when you are put in isolation or quarantine, he always tells you, watch your oxygen level. If it falls below 85, report to me immediately. Or if it is falls below 92, 93, report immediately. Because if it is falling below 95, immediately if you report, active medication is started. If needed, oxygen supplementation can be given. So keep a watch on your parameters like fever, pulse oxygen level, and your general feeling, and report to the doctor, so that if you are treated immediately, you can get rid of corona infection. What yoga practices you will do to keep the care of the nose? You will do Jalneti Kapalbhati. Care of the pharynx, Ujjayi 5 rounds, Brahmari 10 rounds, Surya Bhedan, Simha Mudra. The care of the lung alveoli, you will practice Kapalbhati as per capacity. And to keep your mind cool, you will practice Anulom Vilom, Omkar, Gayatri, and traditional Kavaladham meditation, starting with the eye closure technique. What are other tips? Be at home. Don't invite anybody at home. Not even assisting for utensils or house cleaning also. If it is not possible, you cannot avoid it, then ask them to sanitize, wash hands with soap or on entry in your house. Wear mask properly, covering the mouth, both nostrils, preferably double mask. This wearing mask has been a teasing issue. I have seen people using only this much mask, like a mini skirt, and keeping both the nostrils open. So what is the use of this mask? Government is emphasizing, stressing that you should close both the nostril, both the mouth as well as, and now they are coming up with using double mask. So see that they are wearing proper mask. Don't enter the working area till their presence is there. Once they go out, then sanitize the working area after they go out. Oiling the nostril from inside before leaving home. Those who have to go every day out, just these are few tips I collected from other pathies. They said put your finger into the coconut oil and just oil the inner side of the nose. Take steam every day. Again, now it has been told that if you use steam for 10-15 minutes, it may atrophy the nasal mucosa. So just take it for 1 or 2 minutes every time. Saline gargles twice a day. Drink warm water as far as possible. Do not touch face. If you have gone out and you are touching here and there, suppose you might get corona infection attached to the finger and then you touch your face, what will happen? These organisms, they will lodge on your face, and here nose entry is near, mouth entry is near, conjunctiva is near. So don't touch the face repeatedly. Use wearing mask properly, covering the nose. Use of the face shield. Wash hands frequently, because whatever dust particles, coronavirus, if by chance they are stuck to your finger, they should be washed out. Keep safe distance between you and patient and relatives. Those who are going out in office or working with COVID patient, after coming home, take steam in both nostrils and also oral cavity, saline gargles. Take bath after coming home after duty. Send all the clothes for washing. Don't keep same clothes in the house or in the wardrobe. Perform Jalniti, Brahmari, Kapalbhati and meditation. So that will help you to keep yourself free from corona. Other few tips: take half a teaspoon of haldi powder with lukewarm water in the morning. The lemon juice every day at least once. Use ginger in daily food. Take more liquids. Do not take heavy meals. Have good sleep in night. Take appropriate rest. This liquids is very important. As far as possible, you should take maximum amount of liquid whole day. So it will help to keep your circulation properly and oxygenation to the body properly. This was somewhere I found. I just took it. My dearest and nearest, east or west, home is the best. Take some more rest. Don't call any guests. What we have just said, that don't invite anybody. Enjoy your home feast. Enjoy, celebrate your birthday, wedding anniversary, or anything at home only. Don't go to hotels. Don't have any outgoing guests. Don't keep on running out every now and then. This is our life-saving test. So let us be in our nest, be at home only. And humble request, as COVID is reaching its Everest. So I hope that you will follow the things told in this saying. This will be the first race in the world where one who stops will win. Stay at home, stay safe, free from COVID-19. Be happy, enjoy the life, and take care. Every now and then, we are telling that be at home, be safe. Even in the morning, Honorary Prime Minister has told that yoga should be made as a lifestyle. You should live yogic. You should walk yogic. You should think yogic. When Honorable Prime Minister has put the thing into the, that this today's 21st June should be celebrated the World Yoga Day, it was accepted, and about 177 countries have signed the statement. Out of that, there are 30 to 40 countries, they are Muslim countries. They also understood the importance of the yoga. So it has got nothing to do with the religion. Now, whole world is ready to accept the yogic lifestyle. This has been told 400 years ago by Kabir Surdas. That's why I'm repeating it again. Those who might have heard it, but again I'm telling you, this yogic science is 5,000-year-old science, and 400 years ago, Kabir Surdas has said, "Re mana dheeraj kyun na dhare, sawat 2000 ke baad aisa yoga pare." He said, have patience, wait. After 2000, the time is going to come. Like what? Purava, Paschima, Dakshina, Uttara, Chaudisa Kala Fire. The time will come where the death toll will increase like anything at all the sides, east, west, south, north, in anywhere of the globe, and it will be a very panicky situation. And we are observing that corona pandemic has come and it has engrossed all over the globe, and people are facing problem all over the globe. It is not that only one country is affected. All the countries all over the world, they are affected. So the person who was listening to him, he got frightened. Kabir Surdas, he was a blind fellow, but he knew what is going to happen after 400 years. What he said, "Kal vyal se wahi bachega, jo soham ka dhyan karega." सांस की रफ्तार को नियंत्रित करेगा। यह है हरि की लीला, टाले नहीं टले, ये तो होने वाला है, लेकिन यदि हमें उससे बचना है तो हमारे सांस की गति को नियंत्रित करना है। What he said, this is going to happen, but the person who is controlling his breath will be saved. So the one who is practice yoga, the science of controlling the breath, he will be saved. This is going to happen, but if you want to get yourself saved from this, to prevent getting corona, practice yoga. And that is why the importance of the yoga. I once again say this yoga is nothing to do with the religion. It is for keeping yourself healthy. So practice yoga regularly and keep yourself healthy and away from the corona, and don't be panic in the corona pandemic. Thank you very much. Hari Om. I thanks St. Thomas College and the principal of the college and the organizer for giving me opportunity to share my thoughts. Hari Om. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Satish. Now our discussion session is starting. You can ask the questions in the chat box. We will try to address as many questions as possible. Dr. Satish, we have a question.
Yes.
Is there an effective yoga kriya for CSF rhinorrhea?
See, you will have to find out the reason of CSF rhinorrhea. If you, all the people might not be knowing what is CSF rhinorrhea. In the skull, there is a brain, and it has got coverings over the brain. And to prevent the getting shock, suppose you are standing, walking, then jumping down, there may be shock. And shock waves will be there. And because of that, the brain inside the skull may move like that. And to prevent the injury to the brain, there is a cerebrospinal fluid. It is secreted into the secreted by the layers of the brain, and they are around the brain, so it acts as a shock absorber. Now, suppose this is the, I told you, there are two frontal sinuses, two maxillary sinuses, and two ethmoidal sinuses. Now, this ethmoidal sinuses, at the top roof, there is a cribriform plate, which is a porous plate. And if it is damaged, sometimes there may be CSF rhinorrhea. So we have to find out what is the cause of the CSF rhinorrhea, what was the disease he has been affected, and then accordingly we can think of giving yogic practices. So I would like to know the detailed reports. Somebody can, those who have got some query, they can contact me on this number, WhatsApp number. You can send me the report, and I will tell you the answer for that.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
That was a truly brainstorming session. We were truly introduced well. We were truly introduced well to the world of yoga and its significance in maintaining sound health. I am sure that we all are enlightened by this session and have a lot to take away. Like Dr. mentioned, let us make yoga a part of our daily lives and stay healthy. Thank you so much for sharing your experience and knowledge with us, sir. Once again, on behalf of UBA of St. Thomas College, Pada, I express my sincere gratitude to Dr. Satish. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.